The fens of eastern England are a vast, man-made marvel of a landscape. Great big domed skies over vast plains of rich, fertile soil, crisscrossed with canals and ditches and dikes and drains, all there to try and remove the water from this place. So if you want to build here, it's probably going to be below sea level. When you dig into the ground, you will encounter your nemesis, water, very quickly. And building here, it's a bit like pushing water uphill. Lincolnshire born and bred, Nathan is a self-made man with a clutch of businesses in his local town, like his pub and microbrewery.
I love being my own boss. I wouldn't want to work for anybody else and have a kind of 9 till 5 day job.
But 5 years ago, Nathan's life was turned on its head when he met Amye, a teacher fresh over from Ireland.
Yeah, meeting Amy's been just amazing. It's been a whirlwind.
How long have you been doing it for?
3 hours. Don't want to come home, that's all.
Oh, okay, yeah. My cooking is shocking.
Now, the couple are planning to build a permanent home together on an acre plot a couple of miles out of town.
Always looking for a plot. This came up. It couldn't be any better. It will be our dream house.
Yeah, it will be. I grew up in the countryside in complete rural Ireland. It was green and beautiful, and for a child it was perfect. Nathan and I are planning in the future at some point to get married, maybe have some children, so I'm hoping to recreate a little bit of that in rural Lincolnshire.
And the house won't just be a rural retreat for Nathan and Amye and his 2 older children, Noah and Ava. His mum Rosie and his stepdad Albert have lived in a mobile home for the last 13 years. And now Nathan will be building them a house next to his, so the 3 generations can be together.
It's time to sort of like start all over again. And for us to do that at our age, that's wonderful. It's a family, all of us.
Fantastic.
Family expectations are running high, but at least Nathan has some construction experience.
So that should be done next week.
His main line of work is building volume housing.
Just the run-of-the-mill estate housing, whereas what we're hopefully going to achieve, it's just so different. A steel frame house, fully clad in recycled tiles.
He might know how to put up standard brick houses, but a cutting-edge, multi-generational home will certainly push Nathan out of his comfort zone.
Well, I'm sure I've perhaps bitten off more than I can chew. I've never done it. I don't know what I'm doing.
Believe it or not, this is summer, one of the wettest on record. Hey.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. And you, how are you?
Very well.
Good to see you.
Oh, blimey.
Awful.
Man
It's
alive.
freezing.
This is a beautiful plot, though. So how did you get planning permission on a site like this?
The previous owners failed twice, which is why they've sold the plot.
OK, so you bought a site, a plot, without planning consent on it, because it had failed twice, so it didn't look good.
It didn't look good.
So you must have got it for a bargain.
I think so.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
So how much do you pay for it?
100.
Well, that's all right. No, that's amazing. What do you stick on it?
4 bed,
So a 5-bedroom.
5 bedroom.
I love this.
So
Fantastic
we're building a
consistency between you.
5-bedroom house and a 2-bedroom annex
Yeah.
OK.
for your mum and his stepdad to move into.
What's it going to look like?
It's going to look similar shape to the house over there.
Right. I mean, that's got a sort of Dutch barn roof.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's the same silhouette as that.
I've always wanted to do a self-build and create something that nobody else has.
OK.
It's going to look bespoke, going to look very modern and sleek, but also be that Dutch-style barn.
The silty soil of this former marshland means they need serious foundations, piles 13 metres deep, locked together by concrete foundations. And they need to raise the ground level here by 1 metre to cope with the high flood risk. On their concrete foundations will soar an elegant vaulted steel frame cloaked with structural insulated panels, sips, to form that distinctive Dutch gabled roof. But there are no real walls to this house because the roof, clad in recycled slate, will run from the ridge right down to ground level. The openings at each end of this crazy upturned boat will be glazed to provide framed views out over the fields, and giant brick chimneys will ascend from each end of the main wing. You'll enter through a lofty porch into a double-height space, through which will thread a purpose-designed staircase. Functional service rooms, a study, utility room and pantry will sit behind doors along the east wall, allowing the rest of downstairs to be pretty well one open space, with a kitchen and dining area to the south, a generous playroom in the west wing, and at the other end, a spectacular vaulted living room open to the rafters and arranged around a wood burner chimney. Upstairs, Nathan and Amy's bedroom comes with a dressing room and ensuite positioned to enjoy the south-facing rural views that Amy craves. Down the open landing, past a family bathroom, will be two smaller bedrooms, each set into a dramatic cantilevered metal-clad box. Over the hall, Nathan's teenage kids will have the west wing to themselves on the nights when they stay. And across the plot will be the annex for Nathan's mum and stepdad. So, can Nathan succeed in bringing together 3 generations in this Noah's Ark amid the wetland fens without finding himself at sea? How long is it going to take?
A year.
Ish.
A year.
Amy doesn't understand delays.
Are you going to run this as main contractors? Are you going to run this as clients, as project managers?
We'll be, I suppose, main contractor and project managers.
And how much have you costed so far?
400,000. Any more than 5 will start causing pain.
Where does the money come from? From the sale of this place?
Yes.
Yeah, moving into a temporary rented house.
How far out of your comfort zone are you going to be doing this?
It's going to be scary.
You've never worked in the steel frame sector, for example.
You've got a lot emotionally invested in your own home, which you don't, of course, with a commercial project. It's a different kind of investment and stake.
I think I'll see the challenge. I want to do it because of the bit in the back of my brain which perhaps says I can't.
So for him, it is definitely because other people say you can't. I think that's it a little bit for you.
A little bit.
Which can be dangerous, but...
We'll see.
Are you good at delegating? Well, please say yes.
I think so.
He is the worst communicator and an awful delegator.
Can't wait for the fireworks. This is a really agricultural area, isn't it? Not architectural. What drives Nathan? What's forcing him to make this object in this place? I think the answer to that question is one word. Amy. 2 months later, work gets underway on the deep foundations. 35 individual piles are driven 13 metres into the silty wet soil. But as work progresses and they start to dig out the deep trenches for the web of concrete that will connect the piles, they're hit again with more drenching rain. The high water table has wreaked havoc.
We've had weeks and weeks and weeks of rain. This has collapsed since yesterday. Before we pour the concrete tomorrow, somehow, we're going to have to get in there and get all that mud out the footings before we pour them. A nightmare to get right.
Nathan could do without this setback, particularly today, the day when they move out of the family home, which they've sold to fund the project.
No going back. No, far too late to go back. So yeah, that can all go.
That's lots done, actually.
Oh no, I've been here, look, working.
Look how big the room was this whole time. I came over to England for a year, 5 years ago, and now we're moving out of this house 5 years later so that we can build the house of our dreams, and it just is all a little bit too much for me to take in emotionally. And I'm an emotional person anyway, haven't I? But it's just on peak levels at the moment.
And there's a good reason why Amy's emotions are running high.
So yeah, this is not to go.
You know, it's sleepless nights and baby's crying.
So we are pregnant, early days, but baby will be due halfway through the house build. But now we just need to obviously make sure that we're stricter with the timeline so that we can get into the house as soon as we can once the baby arrives.
So the baby clock is now ticking,
What time did you start?
and Amy's patience for any delays on site is likely to narrow rapidly. Early next morning, the team are down in the trenches digging out the mud before the first concrete truck arrives.
A stressful day today. Very stressful. Concrete wagon will be here in the next half an hour, I think, so hopefully we'll be ready.
Nathan's relying on people he knows, mates and trusted contractors.
Richard's in charge today. I've known Richard a long time. He knows what he's doing.
Nathan, panicking as usual. He just likes to be reassured all the time.
Amy stopped by on her way to school.
He hasn't been able to sleep for the last few nights because of the rain. Yeah, when he's stressed, there's just no talking to him. He can't communicate for the life of him. He just doesn't have the patience to communicate with me. It is hard because we want to just be comfortable, we want to settle. And we're just really unsettled at the moment.
The team have redug the trenches just in time for the first of 9 concrete deliveries. But just as they're getting into the swing of it, another problem looms. No concrete lorries have arrived on site for the past half hour.
Should really just be on turnaround, so as one leaves and the other one turns up, but it's not happening like that.
It's strange. Richard gets on the blower to the concrete factory.
Have we got an ETA from when the next load is? Unfortunately, the plant's broken. Waiting for an electrician. Might be here for a long time.
The concrete works have had to shut down. This is potentially disastrous. A wait longer than 2 hours means any new concrete won't bond with the previous pour, creating a weak point.
They're moving production to Boston plant, so probably an hour and a half before we get the next load.
The timing is tight. It's a painful 90-minute wait for Nathan,
Just waiting to hear the rumble of a concrete lorry.
knowing it could cost thousands of pounds to remove the concrete that's already been poured.
Everyone stood around, not doing anything.
Minutes short of the 2-hour limit.
Concrete lorry has just arrived, which is brilliant.
The team really have to crack on to get the new concrete in before it all sets. With the lorries now arriving, and a remarkable joint effort, they get the foundations all poured in one.
Yeah, nightmare has been averted. Just
Very pleased. Concrete's all poured, 9 loads of concrete. I think every wagon today is like 800 quid. Yeah, I'm pleased it's done. It's a good day.
I've noticed Nathan isn't one to blow his own trumpet, so I want to ask his mum and Albert how he manages to juggle the build with all his work and family commitments.
Absolutely taken aback with the way that he's handled his working life.
He's always passionate about what he does.
Properly ambitious chap. That self-reliance, that kind of independent spirit, that drive.
But he does do incredible hours.
Yeah.
Do you worry for his stress levels?
Do. I had a conversation with him this morning. I said, "Oh, Nathan, you know, like, are you all right? Mother, stop worrying, stop worrying." And that's all he ever says. But he never ever says to us, "Dear," you know, like, "Oh, it's all doing me head in, Mother."
No.
He's not like that sort of thing.
He
so
solves his wee problems, doesn't he?
I agree. I think Nathan and Amy are both looking forward to having some babysitters on hand. Nathan's keen as ever to keep up the pace, so work is afoot on the very big steel frame, which will need to slot together with great precision.
Well, it's different and it's a complicated shape. It's been a challenge, that's for sure.
Nathan is spending £50,000 on this absolutely bespoke frame design, so he's obviously keen to check everything is running to schedule.
Wow, that's it. It's definitely big.
The steel is due to be lifted into place next week by Jamie's father, Don, a veteran crane operator.
And there's no issues getting that crane on site. It'll go under
He's been to look
twice.
more than once.
So it's your dad's fault then if it all goes wrong Monday. Like it. We've spent hours and thousands of pounds making sure the drawings are correct. Not even thinking about if it's not right. Amy's keen to get in there as quick as possible.
The following week, Don arrives with his crane and an erection team ahead of 253 pieces of steel that'll form the skeleton of Nathan and Amy's house. Nathan's not here, he's at work, so he's relying on Don and his 48 years in the business to get the job done in his absence.
There used to do a lot of farm buildings years ago around here. Seen a lot. I haven't done many houses that's made of steel.
Don backs the 36-ton crane into position to allow space for the lorry delivering the largest 7-metre-long steels. But he soon runs into trouble. The ground is still so waterlogged, it might as well be quicksand.
Any one time you've got 28 ton pressure on each rigger, so whatever's underneath it's got to be right.
The quagmire seems to suck at the wheels.
Very bad.
Putting pressure on all the crane's systems.
Oh, Christ. Yeah. Hydraulic oil, I think. Blown a pipe or something. Oh, it's pouring. Look at it pouring out of there, look.
Don's day is not going very well.
They always break when you don't want them to break, don't they?
Meanwhile, the driver of the steel lorry decides to cut his losses.
Restrapping this because I've got to take it somewhere else.
The crane is now completely out of action. The steelwork is gone, and no one knows what the plan is.
Well, there you go.
Pain in the arse.
The South Lincolnshire fens are famous for being soggy, so it comes as no surprise that Don has been unable to rescue his crane from Nathan and Amy's land.
I don't know whether it'll fit. Might do. Right, you go forward.
They have no soaring steel frame on their site, just 36 tons of steel machinery stuck in a rut.
Not out. Yeah, anyway, thanks for it.
A farmer's tractor admits defeat, and yet the steel lorry is coming back to site in 2 hours. Each time it's booked, it costs money, so Don's feeling the pressure, especially when the boss arrives on site.
We're doing?
Oh, good. You?
Not bad. What's happened here then? I was hoping to see the steel here and the crane lifting steel up. The crane's stuck. His axles are down. It's going to go wrong. It feels like it's going to go wrong at the moment.
Nathan has to go to work, and he has to delegate.
I'll come back at lunch and it'll be built. Hopefully get all the bad luck out of the way. Early doors. God.
Finally, the big guns arrive.
It's what picks lorries up when they break down.
They're hoping this huge tow truck can pull the crane out before the steel lorry arrives in 1 hour.
They're local people.
Just steer it out, no drive, just let it roll.
This huge machine should have no problem pulling out a 36-ton crane. But for some reason, it's not budging an inch.
You got your handbrake off, haven't you? Everything's off.
No. No, sorry. Why didn't you tell me that before? No, I'm not. It'll only get better, hopefully.
So, now the handbrake is off,
We're in action, I think.
and as the steel lorry returns, Don can get on with what he excels at. By the end of the day, all 30 tons of steel are unloaded. Although not all of it has gone up.
One piece fits anyway. First bit's gone up, look.
Oh my God, this is the most momentous occasion.
Yeah, no, it looked totally different this time next week.
You said it'd all be up in a week. There's going to be a baby crawling around the floors here in about 9 weeks' time, so...
Amy's immovable deadline is all she can think about, rightly.
I don't think she quite understands how complicated it is. But anyway, she doesn't need to, does she? She doesn't need to. Yeah.
Over the following days, spanners in hand, the steelwork team rise to the challenge of slotting this huge structure together. This house of many angles is the brainchild of Nathan's friend, who's an architectural technologist, Chris Baxter.
This has got to be good, and I can't let him down.
A little bit high.
Chris normally designs Nathan's standard brick houses, so this is a special project for him too. But high design ambitions bring with them a high price tag.
I've always said to Nathan, I don't think his budget is enough. I don't think he's taken into account how bespoke the house is. Having said that, if he does bring it in on budget, I'll be really impressed.
Now the steels are up, I want to see how the house sits in this flat, expansive landscape. Oh, look, next to the little house that inspired it. My heavens, that looks like a little cathedral being built out of steel. How are you both, all right?
Hi.
Very well, you?
Yeah. Wet, of course, because it's, well, when else can you be here? It's been all about the weather, hasn't it, this?
I wanted to be dry by now.
Yeah,
yes.
you did.
Yeah.
Failed.
I heard many of those promises, watertight by Christmas, watertight by Christmas.
I didn't say which Christmas.
There's a reason now, is there not, why you want to be moving on, getting in?
Yeah, so we're actually getting married next September, hence that's an extra push for the deadline, and we are 8 months pregnant now as well. But why not get the 3 most stressful things that you could possibly do in life out of the way at the same time?
What's that, divorce? Yeah. And what about you? I mean, you're stressed at the moment? Got a lot on?
A little bit. It's been a bit too much at times, but...
I often get the one-liner, I'm doing this for us.
When he's saying this is for us, he's saying this is for you.
Yeah. Aw. Yeah, there we go.
What's the bit that excites you most?
I'm most excited about watching our baby grow in this house and making new memories.
Yeah. That's what it is. That's what it is, a vessel for that, isn't it?
Yeah.
The upside-down boat shape of that vessel is unusual, but you do see it mirrored in a remarkable number of the houses nearby. And there's a reason for that. So, look at the shape of the end gable, that sort of Dutch barn shape. It's echoed in their design, but the relationship between the two buildings is more than that. The house that they're building is on a site that was attached to this house when it was built, because this was a house for smallholders. It was built for agricultural use as part of a national programme by the government in the 1930s. And it was in response to the terrible economic times when industry was in decline and there was huge unemployment and tremendous poverty. So people from the north of England would be transplanted and given a new life and taught how to raise crops and look after chickens and rear pigs. So this was part of a utopian future, a new world that was being created for these people by the government.
And so the wives and families of the settlers arrive at the estate. The countryside welcomes them to start a new life with their men on the land.
But there's something even more exciting, more poignant about it, and it's to do with the way that this house was built. This building, as part of the land settlement programme, this building was a self-build. So, excitingly, not only does it share its shape, but it shares the same DNA as Nathan and Amy's house. And come February, the pooling of DNA manifests in another way.
This is our little baby Neve.
2 weeks tomorrow.
So life's a little different since we saw you last.
A little busier.
Yes.
For you?
Yeah, well, for both of us.
All of us.
Yeah, you've been really busy as well at work, so.
Yeah, work's been busy.
I mean, she was born on a Wednesday and you were back to work on the Friday morning. The arrival of baby Neve, it's giving you that extra push to make sure that everything does get done so that we can get moved in September or October type time. It's
December.
September.
December.
Amy may be cracking the maternal whip to finish in 7 months, but this large house is still just a frame. So Nathan spends the following weeks pulling out all the stops on site.
Since Christmas, we've flied on really. The floors have gone in, all the brickwork's going up, and they've started infilling all the panels with the timber framing. Chimneys going up. Yeah, lots of progress. Burning the cash at the moment because it's just going so quick, but as long as it continues, then it's fine. Yeah.
By the end of the month, the tilers have begun the giant task of laying the armadillo roof that'll completely envelop the house.
I think there's 5,000, I think. Could be more. It's a very big job. Been okay so far.
Nathan can take pride that all the activity means he's sort of back on track to keep Amye satisfied and in by September. But come spring, a threatening storm cloud gathers on the horizon. The coronavirus lockdown has put the project in a state of paralysis.
Yeah, it's been like scary, wondering like, are you going to get labour to site? Are you not going to get on? How much longer will it take? And I just don't know. It is a nightmare.
For the last 8 months, Nathan and Amye have battled with the rising water in this sodden corner of Lincolnshire, but succeeded in raising a great barn of a building from the silt. They were even on schedule, but the global pandemic rather stopped them in their tracks. A few weeks into lockdown, 1, 2. It's my first chance to check in with Nathan and Amye since travel restrictions were imposed. Hello.
Hi, Kevin.
You look like you're holding a cushion to your chest. Oh, and it's hiding someone. She's got loads of hair.
She has got so much
She
hair.
came out of all that hair.
It's only just starting to thin out now as well. Like, she's got little bald spots, bless her.
I'll give her some tips. How's your house? Your other baby?
Well.
Do you want to have a look?
Yeah. Go on.
Okay.
It looks to me like you're in a church.
We've got really high ceilings.
It's a huge amount of work since I was there last. I'm surprised you managed to get so much done.
Pretty much when the lockdown happened, I had all the timber frame on site and I had all the roofing materials. We've definitely been looking, the majority of the sites have closed. The people here are all self-employed. They've been more than happy to come.
Sure. The guys are looking for work, so it's turned from a supply-led market to a demand-led market.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, remarkable that. Tell me about the money side of things then.
More than what we said.
What you said was, what, £400,000?
I think 500.
Yeah.
I think the size of it wasn't something that we had a grasp of.
I have thought in the last few weeks, maybe it could have been a lot smaller.
Look, and they're all hypothetical questions because you're where you are now. You're going forward. Now, I presume you've got some cash to get you to the end of the project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as long as you've got enough resources to keep your, body and soul together, look after the little one, stay safe.
Yeah, Andrew, I'm sure we'll see you soon.
Yeah, I hope so. Wouldn't that be nice? You know what amused me about that conversation was just how surprised both Amye and Nathan are that their house is so much bigger than they thought it would be. An easy mistake to make, but of course he feels it where it hurts, in his wallet. Having said that, the design is so interesting, and I think the shapes are so surprising and full of energy that the bigger that building is, the more exciting it's going to be. There are 3 months to go until Amy's deadline. And as the lockdown restrictions ease, a whole team of window fitters arrive on site, all to install a single massive window frame.
To have the gable glazed is very, very bespoke. We probably make 4 or 5 windows like this a year.
This single frame is 6 meters wide and will run floor to ceiling, a bit like a shop window.
That is his main bedroom. Yes, he'd been extrovert. They not shy. The danger is when we're moving the product around, to get into the aperture with no marks, care is a primary thing.
To move a piece this size across the mud without knocks or scrapes needs delicacy. And yet there is no crane this time, just Nathan's mate, a farmer, and his telehandler.
I'm the corner pond guy. Cheap.
Actually, a telehandler is just the thing to help push the frame into the opening.
Yeah, so now come forward a bit.
A bit more. Just a little bit of movement and that's all. Actually, that's fitted really well.
This is the first of 29 windows that need to be installed before the building is watertight for winter.
Wow. Front window. Finally in. Almost a masterpiece, I think. I'll feel a lot more confident when the glass is in, it's skimmed, the scaffold's down, and just dependent on people turning up, so. Still so much to do.
Any pride that Nathan may feel seems always to be clouded by the dread of the workload left. But Amye can see beyond that.
From today, it should be less than 3 months until we live in this house.
In the inspiring shapes of the rooms, she can begin to plan and detail their home.
So we just went crazy and got 12 different colour dining chairs. Whether it all works or not when it arrives, we'll see.
We all will, Amye, because lockdown has presented them with an unexpected design conundrum. How to furnish a house semi-blindfold with no samples.
It is now getting a little bit stressful in terms of having to make decisions because showrooms aren't open properly yet. So yeah, we're having to go at it really blind. So he wanted me to pick a splashback for the kitchen yesterday, but he sent me a website and that's fine, but I don't know what it's going to look like. If we were to say, well, we won't bother then picking any of it until everywhere is open again, then we'd be pushing this back months. So it's just a risk we have to take.
Taking shots in the dark like this is only compounded by the fact that fundamentally they don't seem to share the same taste.
Nathan, he gets very seduced by flashy things. Like he wanted the LED strips in as many places in the house as he could get it because it sounds cool. He wanted LED strips on the outside of the house, so this sort of archway, but it's going to look like there's Christmas lights on it all the time. His taste, probably a little bit more eccentric than mine.
I'm just wondering if Nathan might try to smuggle in some LED bling with the main stairs.
They're going to be the feature in the house, really, I think, downstairs especially. But I know that they're £17,000. It's an obscene amount of money to pay for something that takes you upstairs and downstairs.
And I think Amy's wondering too. She had a clear view at the beginning of what she wanted. She set the brief. But Nathan's been having all the discussions with the workshop making the staircase. It's time for Amye to assess the work in progress.
It's the biggest thing to go into the house.
Yes.
It's also the most expensive thing to go into the house. I know I sent the original, this is what we're aiming for picture, but I haven't seen any of it since or been part of any of the conversations or anything, so this is going to be my first time sort of seeing what it looks like.
How you doing? All right, you? Not bad, not bad. What do you reckon?
That's why this isn't what I expected to see at all. So
You've seen all the plans?
I haven't seen anything. That's the first time I've seen that.
It's not.
It is? Not at all what I had in my head. Is it what you expected to see?
Yes.
Oh.
I knew
Mr.
what
I've been part of all the design conversations.
I knew what I was getting.
It's too late to change the design.
The test is yet to come.
Amye will have to defer final judgment until the stairs are in place. As summer ends, Nathan and Amye allow themselves a couple of days off to get married. But there is no honeymoon, only a push to the finish line on the house. The roofers attach the last of the 5,000 tiles. The larch cladding goes up, and free of scaffolding, the upturned boat building finally emerges. With the end in sight, Albert and Rosie put their caravan up for sale and come to inspect the annex their son built that'll soon be their new home.
Beautiful. Wonderful.
Yeah, Nathan's put a toilet in downstairs.
Yeah, that's handy. Yeah.
It is handy.
Do you like it?
We'll go see the lounge and you can see what kind of view you'll have.
Yeah. But we never had anything like this before.
No.
But we've got somewhere lovely to live, and I'm so proud of him. His progress.
Because if Nathan sets out to do with something,
he doesn't.
He does it.
He doesn't give up, and Nathan's done that all the way.
Very much so. He's achieved a lot.
I want to get in, I want to get settled. Obviously in our rental she doesn't have her own bedroom, so she's still sleeping in our room. So that's what is making me the most keen. We both just want to get in so badly.
3 generations of Nathan's family are now piling their expectations onto his shoulders.
There's a lot to do, a lot of it to do as well. That's the problem. It's because it is quite vast, and also just relying on labour. And I've used everybody I know, but sometimes it becomes a little bit fraught because they've got other jobs on. Because I suppose I see this as a different project to anything else I work on because it's personal, and my family's happiness is kind of like all wrapped up into this. So, bit of pressure.
What's your programme like now? You...
Keep asking him.
And what about your mum's place?
She's sold where they live, haven't they?
They've sold where they live. Completion date is the 30th of October, so...
So that needs to be ready for the end of October.
There's a lot happening.
There's a lot to do.
The end of October is just 7 weeks away. Have you got everything you need to finish this place?
Yeah, we do. It's all in the garage. I feel like we need to be very strict with ourselves and stop, because otherwise I feel like we'll have so many mismatched items from eagerness to buy it that it'll be like a clown house on the inside rather than something that seamlessly everywhere just matches something. Otherwise it'll look like a clown house on the inside.
House.
You know, like super colourful and
made it up.
mismatched.
She's made it up.
I mean, we've got 12 different coloured dining chairs. That will look like a dinner party for clown. Like clown vomit. That's how I would imagine it.
If clowns vomited, that they would vomit.
If they vomit interior design, that's what we don't want to end up with.
As the plaster goes up and paint goes on, it's impossible not to be impressed by Nathan's determination to hit that end date. And he doesn't appear to be cutting corners with quality. The building mixes craftsmanship with assertive, bold shapes. Although inside, it remains more of a mystery. Isn't this beautiful? This hung wall of tiles. And look at this flashing. Exquisitely detailed into this really rather fine brickwork too. And a level of detail which Nathan has gone to, which is quite joyful. However, there is one risk, and it's a risk which has only just come over the horizon, a risk which I hadn't countenanced, or for that matter, have never even heard of before. It's the risk of a clown interior. It's late autumn in this corner of South Lincolnshire, a flat agricultural expanse famous for producing the nation's veg, not adventurous architecture. What an amazing landscape. Absolutely horizontal. But just over a year ago, local boy Nathan and his partner Amye broke ground here to build a house. So, borrowing ideas from the distinctive local Dutch gabled agricultural cottages, what kind of gem have they managed to pull from this fertile soil? This building is sharper, bolder, bigger than I remember it. This house is all shape, as though carved from something solid. I still think it resembles a collection of upturned boats protecting their precious human cargo. It certainly isn't shy. It's a house that doesn't make a gentle mark in its landscape, but a heavy, permanent one. Not that its environmental footprint is heavy. This is a super-insulated, fuel-frugal home designed to look after its occupants. Nathan ought to be proud. Hey-o.
Hi.
It's all so sharp, so
crisp.
So crisp, so beautifully freshly done. So it's looking kind of assertive.
Too assertive?
It's just kind of quite, you know,
Solid.
I'm here.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's got personality.
Yeah.
It's great. Your mum, is she in?
Yeah, Mum and I went there in.
They're really, really happy.
Yeah.
Well, come inside.
Through the hallowed porch. The way in is dramatic, like walking into a church. But once inside... Oh, yeah. This place isn't ecclesiastical at all. It's all house. Space, light, and a clean double-height hall at the heart of it. It's looking great. And the shapes like that. Delivering a lot of dynamic shapes on the first floor. Staircase looks great, doesn't it, Amye? You love that, always did.
There was a moment where I was a bit hesitant and let down by the look of the stairs. I absolutely love it. Now that it's in the house and it's part of our home, I wouldn't compromise on the way that it looks at all. So I was wrong.
The one thing you didn't want this house to be was a clown house, and what have you done?
No, I've got a clown section in the house.
Luckily, there's no hint of the comedy big top in the warm living spaces at either end of the house.
We've toned down the colours we were going to use in other parts of the house, and we've just left the colour injection in the chairs.
Yeah, goodness me. I mean, If hearth represents the home, then you've got two giant beating hearts.
Yeah.
Hearts here, haven't you?
I just love fire.
Oh, he just loves the fire.
With fire.
I mean, the underfloor is lovely, but there is nothing like the radiant heat given off by a flame. That's really nice. And admire the kitchen, there you go. Beautiful colour, nicely appointed, and you've got a sitting room, kitchen, dining room. It's proper living space. I do like that window.
It's just the perfect eye line.
This is like looking over the American kind of Midwest, this landscape, you know, big and flat, telegraph poles. It's really sympathetic to the shape of the landscape, which is flat and linear. Upstairs, Nathan's teenage children have bedrooms for the nights when they're not with their mother, sharing a Jack and Jill bathroom. And to the front, there's a full-on main bedroom. Do you know, I normally don't like going into people's bedrooms, certainly not by myself, but I'm going to make an exception because your bedroom is so public.
Yes, it is.
Fantastic view out, don't you? You have got curtains at least, Amy. I've noticed that.
We have got curtains.
And the wall is great because this side you just wouldn't know, and yet this side, of course, no doors, just open space, but here you are. Great bathroom and a dressing room. Really beautiful. Down the corridor, there's a generous family bathroom and Neve's nursery that literally bursts out of the frame in the form of a metal-clad pod fitted with a clever ceiling slit for extra light. What's this? And the house's playfulness keeps revealing itself. There you are. Juliet balcony. It's really good fun. And you get the sort of full-height perspective of the chimney piece, which is so glorious.
It's like a really good spy centre for the kids if they wanted to listen in on conversations and bedtime. They would just continue to stay up there, unnoticed and unseen.
Listening to you talk about them.
Exactly, yeah.
Inquisitive children who can also keep tabs on their grandparents, now living a stone's throw away. The annex is a more traditional complement to the main house, a breathtaking upgrade on their static caravan home of 14 years.
Couldn't ask for more. It just seems like you're going to wake up and it's all going to be a dream, really.
Takes your breath away. We feel stunned in a way.
I think you always hope your children are going to want to look after you, but you'd never take that for granted. And I think Nathan, it's very difficult for him to take praise. We are and always will be truly thankful. We will, won't we? Yeah.
Nathan and Amy have created a 3-generational family homestead and done it at great speed. But has the rush to complete come at a cost? How much did you expect this all to cost?
I think we said 500.
Yeah.
Including the plot and including the annex?
Yeah.
And how much in the end did it all cost?
Just under 6.
So the only question that matters is, can you afford it?
During the middle of COVID, we couldn't actually get a revaluation on this, so I ended up having to revalue another property to get some money out of that. So
Our honeymoon money.
I think I've spent the honeymoon money.
That is a warning shot over the bows, Amy.
Yeah.
What do you love about it?
Hands down, I can't stay away from the nursery. I don't know, is that because I was just so excited about Neve having her own room eventually? And it's the reason we built the house. Was like, so all of our kids could have a room of their own and so all of our children could grow up in the space.
It's not just for the kids though, is it? It's also for Albert. It's for your mum.
Yeah.
You know, and so there's a huge bringing together of family, 3 generations in one place here. How do you feel about being able to take your mum out of the caravan and put her in the house next door?
Yeah, just one of the best moments I've ever had, I think. It's just, I think any son would do anything for their mum. It's all about family.
Yeah. You hate thinking that you've done this great thing for them. You struggle to accept that and say great things about yourself. If it weren't Nathan, it wouldn't have happened. Nathan did this and achieved every single piece of this for his family because he loves them. He wanted to be able to do that, and so he made sure he did. That's what I think happened.
I think she's just said everything you couldn't say.
Maybe. She does that.
Maybe.
I don't need to say
I
a
don't
lot.
know.
I don't need to say a lot.
Actions, of course, speak louder than words. And so this house shouldn't just be taken at face value. So I do admit, that in a certain light, this building can be a bit of a beast, a brooding behemoth whose only interest is to protect those within its dark embrace. Except that actually, it isn't like that at all, is it? I mean, because its embrace, its interior is bright and it's white and it's full of fun. And just over there, there's a mini behemoth made specially for Albert and for Mum. And these two multi-generational buildings, well, they actually share their DNA with the old cottage next door. So no, just like its maker, this building is not as introspective or as brooding as it seems. Beneath its hard exterior beats a warm and generous heart.